Hey y'all, this is TCA Gaming, and in this video I'm going to show you guys a few things that I got in on consignment, some more items that I'm buying, and then I'm going to show you guys some cards that I picked up at a local card shop that I had no idea was just a few minutes away. So we're going to start off with some of these things that I bought. So I did end up grabbing another one of these. Prices have started to go up a little bit on them. I still think they're like the 240, 250 range from what you can find on eBay, so they haven't went up too much. But it's like as soon as you start buying and you see stuff go up, it's like, oh man, do I want to keep buying? So I don't know. I picked up one or two more this morning. I still think it's a decent price for them, but it's just got such a big pop on it, and it's an easy grade. But it is pretty much the card from Shining Fates. I got another Harpy's Feather Duster. I think I got that one off of STF Gaming. There's that other Blaine's Moltres I was talking about. I got this one off of Z&G as well. Check out this Black Skull Dragon. Dude, it's like super wavy. Got the old fade to it. I really like it. Good condition. And then last but not least, I got a Trihorn Dragon. Again, look at that, how wavy that surface is. It's like, man, you can definitely tell those look older. But yeah, so first edition LOB, the 000, of course not as good as Blue Eyes White Dragon, but it was still pretty good. Trihorn Dragon is pretty much a beast. All right, in on consignment, got some of these cards in. Got a Deoxys EX, Dusclops EX. Look at that. It's kind of crazy to think. Like, I don't know what's going to beat out what, but this could potentially do better than this. I mean, I don't know. The Dusclops looks, it's got some whitening down here in the corner. This Giratina, man, it's like if you look at that bottom edge, it's hard to see probably, but it's actually got some decent whitening down there. But the way that line is, it's hard to see. Glaceon, got the alt art from Evolving Skies. There's a Salamence level X, but it does have a crack right across the face of the case. However, it did not look like it affected the surface of the card, so this may be one you could get for a pretty good deal and just have it reholdered. There's an Articuno EX from the Window 10, man. If you kept that Window 10 sealed, that thing's got a nice premium on it. There's Groudon from EX Emerald. Here we have a Groudon EX from Dark Explorers. This one will probably do pretty good too. This one I want to say, yeah, little OC, got a few white dots here and there. Kabutops EX, I really like this artwork. I used to play it in a deck. Maybe that's why I just connect to it a little bit more. There's a Leafeon V alt art. Got the Salamence EX from Power Keepers. And then last we have a Typhlosion EX in a 9. So nothing too crazy, like no high-end 10s, but I think that those cards are going to do pretty well. All right, so the shop that I want to cover is this right here. It's POKEMONSTER LLC. And so I'm showing these pictures here right off the bat. These are from his Instagram. You can see him right there, POKEMONSTER LLC, James McWilliams. And he lists all the other things that he does. Man, this place was like, I didn't think I was actually pulling up on a card shop. And then I went inside and man, it was a card shop. So this wall that you see right here, I mean, it was like that. But it wasn't just that wall. Like, there was a whole nother wall. Like, this Reshiram Charizard GX box was there. The Flareon, I think we bought one of those. Bought several things. He had another wall full of just random stuff. A case full of, like, vintage items. This case here, there was 3 cases, I believe, like this, where they were just slap-filled with cards. Let's see if he shows some of these other walls. He's just showing the new arrivals. It was the most diverse sealed product store that I had been in. I mean, he had stuff all over the place. It was really cool seeing it. Looks like he's there with Chumlee and Sean. I was hoping he'd have this right here. All these Charizards. But he didn't have these available there. So I guess this might be like one of his rooms that he keeps his personal collection in. And he had so many binders. My wife was able to just sit down and just go from one binder to another. And just, I mean, she got a huge stack of stuff. He has an eBay. I know he did have this Deoxys there in the shop. He didn't have a ton of graded cards. There was just so much raw there. And he also has Facebook. You can kind of see this. I imagine this was from a year or two ago. This right here is what the front looked like. All of these were filled up. And then this over here, there was more stuff. And he had these. He had the trading card game classic empty game boards that he was giving away. I think he had made an announcement somewhere online about that. Yeah, here. I guess he made it here on Facebook. If you come in, you could have got one for free. But he just had so much stuff there. Let's see if these pictures, yeah, you can see how it's a little different. He had these graded cards up on the wall, which I did pick up one graded card. I'm going to show you guys that here in a minute. He had all these sitting by the door. You could just come pick one up. And he had said that, you know, he could make money off of them by selling them online, but he just had so many of them that he had broke down for somebody else that, you know, he just didn't have the time at the moment to do it. So he was going to give them away. And I think it was a good play because he got people to come in just for that reason. So I thought that was unique. Yeah, he had some of these red-blue collections as well. I'm trying to see if he has any other pictures of the sidewalls, but he had stuff, like I said, lined all the way around. It was a very impressive display. I will definitely say that. All right, so to show you guys some of the stuff I picked up, I did pick up one graded card. It was this one right here, in which when I looked this up, I saw it online that it was at $279.99, and that was for a buy now. So it's like, I'm going to buy it here for $275. I would actually get it cheaper if I bought it on eBay because I would get my 3% back plus another 1% for Rakuten. But I was like, you know what? I still think it's a good deal, so I went ahead and just picked this one up. I thought it was kind of nice to see the Mega Charizard. It's not the secret rare. It's just the number 13 from the set. But for $275, I thought that was a pretty decent deal. And to be fair, there was some more in auction, and the other one that I saw in auction was over $280. So maybe it was just like where the market still hadn't adjusted yet from a lot of the other Megas getting bought up. Or who knows? Maybe it's going to come back down. But here are some of the cards that I got. So actually this one come from the mall. So I'm going to show you guys a few things that I got from the mall, and then you'll see the cards, other cards that I got. Oh yeah, I got this one from his shop. But this was one of the few errors that I saw there that he didn't have labeled. And so if you know brakes, like this is like the left side, but it's upside down. And I've covered it many times in the past on the channel, but if you're not aware, there are brakes that come from from XY Breakthrough. It was the very first brake set, and all of the brakes within the set, I believe it's 5 or 6 of them, they can come with upside down backsides, and it was quickly corrected. It was done on enough of the sheets to where these cards aren't that expensive, but it's still not very well known because you could also turn the card this way and people just think, okay, that's the right side. But if you're collecting breaks, then you might notice when you go to put your breakthrough breaks in there and you're like, why is the Pokeball upside down on that side? Or only on my breakthrough cards. And it was the only set that I am aware of that had this issue. So he had maybe 4 or 5 cards from breakthrough that were breaks that was just in his random binders. And I saw this one. I was like, oh look, there's one of those that's an error. So I did pick this up for $4, which is probably it's really not that expensive of a card. I think you can get a near mintish one with the upside down backside for like $10. So, I mean, it wasn't like a huge deal or anything. This one's more moderately played. If you look at the condition of it, you can kind of see like where it's got the dent up there on the top right corner, got the smudge right there. So I was happy to pick it up, and I did mention it to him on the way out. I was like, if you've never seen this before, you can get those. There were some of these cards where I was like, hey, a Rocket Zapdos, $3, you know. The Mega Salamence can jump to over $50. Why couldn't, you know, the Rocket Zapdos go from $3 to $4 or $5 or, you know, whatever. Plus, I was looking for cards that I thought would be neat if I graded them and that were in good shape. So these were, like this one's in nice shape. It's pretty well centered. So I thought it might be worth it. He had a ton of these Pikachus. Like, I mean, they ranged anywhere from like $10 to $16, but he had probably 50 of them in the binders. I went ahead and picked up a couple that were a little bit cheaper and seemed to have decent condition. The Rayquaza, you guys know I like this one. This one is a little off center, but the condition was good on it. I saw a first edition Sandshrew, and while it's not like near mint, it's pretty close. It's like a light play. And I was like, you know what? It'd be cool to pick up a first edition base set card. Light Toxicity, I picked up one for my wife because she collects the cameos, and I still think it's a cool release for a card, kind of underappreciated. Maybe in time, you know, it'll be a little bit more appreciated, but I don't know. I'm not too sure if I can grade this one. I did check the condition. Most of them still had like 1 or 2 nicks on it. And then here were some of the cards that they were either right at market price or maybe a little high, maybe a little low. It really depended because some of he had so many singles, like the Venusaur from 151. I found, I mean, there were probably 15 just in those front cases, but they were spread out in price from $66 to $90. I mean, they were just all over the place. I think he prices the cards, puts them in there, and then he moves on. The whole time I was there, people were coming in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And so he was buying collections, moving stuff, talking to people. And I imagine it's really hard to keep up with, but he had a price on everything. I really respect that. And it's also I would never want to do that. Like, there was so many items. Like, how do you keep up with all of it? Here was the Salamence. Like, I have so many of these Charizards, but I looked at this one and I was like, man, that's in really good shape. You know, I could see this easily getting a 9.5 or a 10. So I went ahead and picked that up. This was a nice Galaxy foil for the Zapdos, which it is $19.99 2000, so it's not like a super rare version of it. Here we have a Japanese alternate art Beedrill V. This Raichu looked pretty good. The centering isn't perfect, but look how clean the surface of this is. It's like someone pulled it out of a pack and then that was it. Like, you can see the double stamp on the border. If the centering was better, I mean, it's probably like a 7 or an 8. It might pull the 9, but I doubt it because of the centering, and then there are a few white dots. But the front was just so convincing with how clean it was. It's like, you know what? Let me go ahead and pick that up. Here we have a Charizard. And all of these I did check, so they should be in pretty decent shape. At least something that I think has a shot at pulling at least a 9, but hopefully a 10. Some of them won't. There's a nice Zapdos. Now this right here I got in the mall. Picked this up for $10, and it was just kind of like in the bulk box, and I don't know, like, these are boxes that you can just go into, like, pull stuff out of, and I was like, I think even in like bad condition, like, this is still like a $20-$30 card, and it's not like terrible condition. So I went ahead and picked this up, and there were a few other cards where I was like, you know what, for $7 it might be worth it. Like, this looks to be like a 10 contender. These are like some either alternate arts or special illustration rares. Sorry if these are a little mixed up. My wife did she did record some of these, and I was like, these are the ones that I think I picked out, because she had her stack, I had mine. It was all kind of mixed together. This I did pick up from POKEMONSTER LLC, and if you notice, it is a red dot error. However, the price is right at about what it should be for the condition of this one. So I don't know if he was aware it was a red dot or not, but I did call it out. So, like, I wasn't trying to pull a fast one. I was like, hey, let me look at your red dot Blastoise. And so I pulled it out, and that's right about what a red dot should be for. This is almost like a moderately played. A lot of these Alakazams, I do like Alakazam. I think it's one of the best artworks, period, in 151. So anytime I can get one of these that I think will do well, I'll go ahead and pick it up. Even though, like, a 9, it's like $50. So it's like, if you don't hit the 10, like, you're losing money on an Alakazam. I also like the Suicune V. I picked up a few of these that I thought were in good shape. You can even see some of these, like, there's a little bit of a price discrepancy. The Roaring Moon, I think the price we agreed on for these were $40, and you can kind of see how this one was 52, this one was 42, this was 57, and so I think they've got a decent shot. Got a Beedrill V. You can any of these that I got with this sticker, Lucky Dog Sports Valley Hills Mall. This is a sports guy. He was really easy to work with. I went there and we were just going through all of his bulk, and he actually cut us a pretty decent deal for a lot of the cards because we bought so many. It was mostly my wife, but I still got probably 10 or 15 cards, and he didn't charge us for the tax because I had my resale and use tax permit, and I provided that for him. A lot of times places won't do that, but most places will. So if you have one of those, make sure you bring it. That way you can at least say, hey, I've got this. I'm supposed to be tax exempt. There's no reason for you to pay tax over and over and over on items, especially when tax has already been paid, or it's going to be paid again when it gets sold to somebody else. So if you have that, make sure you bring it. There's just like a little tip to where you can save a little bit of money. Like these, he knocked this one down to 5, and then he actually knocked the price off at the very end too. There's Radiant Greninja. I like Volcanion. I plan to get some of those graded. This one I had picked up with another one from POKEMONSTER LLC. I want to say we paid $285. This one right here I think has a decent shot at getting a 10. The one that my wife has, I want to say the corners are even cleaner than this one. However, it's a little OC. And then he had a third one that had that was pretty nice too, but there was a white dot that it would just be hard to ignore if somebody's trying to grade it. Picked up this one as well, and this led into my wife's recent opening with the Trading Card Game Classic. She was like, I love that holofoil, and I'm like, you can get 3 full decks of these things with that holofoil on there. And she's like, what? And she almost bought one. I was like, look, I've got plenty of those. Let's just use one of the ones that I have. All right, guys, so that's all I have for this video. I really appreciated the hospitality that James showed over at POKEMONSTER LLC. If you guys are in the area, if you're in North Carolina, if you're near Charlotte, he's probably only about 45 minutes out of Charlotte. He's about 25 minutes from where I live, and I've never been there. And he's just like right up the street. And he had a huge variety of sealed products, a lot of single cards. He had some lower end, some higher end, and then I believe he had more stuff as well that he keeps in his personal collection. So maybe ask him if there's something specific that you want. I did ask about uncut sheets. He didn't have those. But thanks, guys, for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.